Calls for better disaster management flooded social media following the onslaught of powerful storms like Rolly and Ulysses. How can the Philippines better prepare for strong typhoons? Let's now talk to Director Peter Galvez, a spokesperson of the National Disaster Risk Reduction Management Council. Dr. Galvez, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon po. Good afternoon to all your viewers.
Hi, sir. Congratulations on the new post, but you're coming in at a time when the NDRMC is being criticized by some people about how the agency acted in preparation and in response to the effects of Ulysses. Do you think there was any aspect of the agency's coordination and operations where the agency may have failed or may need to improve on?
We hope we guess there are always a lot of ways that we can improve, but given this instance, we see that everyone were actually prepared even before this came, and all our resources are right now being deployed or being deployed further. So everything that we have were actually used and implemented right away.
Yes, go ahead, sir. Go ahead.
So we think that one of the things that we could probably, you were mentioning, improve on is the continuous preparation for people and reminding them of what measures that all of us need to take, and also to report on this. So sometimes what happens is when a typhoon comes or an event comes, it's the only time that everyone just becomes looking at it again or reviewing it again. But here at NDRRMC, our people here and the other agencies connected with the whole council and all the member agencies are always on their toes to always number one, always preparing relief goods, always preparing equipment. For example, for the armed forces, most of the acquisitions that we have are actually so that we can, move things around the country, airplanes, ships, and boats. In fact, right now, just early this morning, we sent off the one of our strategic fleet vessels for Catanduanes, and another one, the other SSB. These are the big ships, no? I think they have several tons and of various of food, of equipment. Also, they have actually inside inside the ship, it carried also heavy equipment and repair materials. Actually, when we were there with the secretary earlier, we saw what do you call those steel bars and roofing. So you can just imagine how much these ships will be able to bring in to those places. So tomorrow, I think the Navy will be launching again also the one for going to Cagayan. So those things are what we always prepare for. So even our Coast Guard, as you can see, they also have they have now more boats. We use the rigid hull boats or yung medyo mas matitigas po. So that, kasi maraming hazards eh. So some of our rescuers actually, as you wade into the water, or especially those yung mga baha natin, you'll never know what's there, barbed wires or
right.
Even on the walls. I mean, in Marikina, for example, there are some houses with, of course, the wall, and then they have those yung mga glass shards.
Right, yes.
Yeah, so of course, some people, they wouldn't know, they wouldn't see those, so that is very dangerous. So most people who just wade in the waters, please, actually, technically, as much as possible, just if they can, try to wait for our rescuers to arrive. And
right.
Most of our LGUs also are continuously being capacitated. So not only in training, we just hope that the LGUs also acquire these assets, that small boats or inflatable boats and other equipment that could help, especially in floods. And the same manner also with for earthquakes, for example, that you need certain power tools. So that's what we hope, so that the whole country could really be capacitated in dealing with any hazard that comes our way.
But when it comes to preparations, local government officials have that big responsibility, of course, for their constituents, and in warning and alerting the public. But in this situation, we know that also that local governments have their own manual. We talked to the DILG. They can look at it. It's a sort of a checklist they can follow when preparing for a crisis. But do you think there's still a problem with the communication between the NDRMC and the local government units when it comes to warnings and advisories?
I think there's always room to improve on, especially that people change. Some people, some of their staff may be new, so maybe the intent of sending one message to another, the shortest possible way, may sometimes be affected. So it's important that we always review these things, especially when the typhoon, when we already hear the warnings coming, because it's networks like you, our radios, everyone is actually helping to notify just about everyone. Diba, when we study, there's knowledge and then there's awareness. It's now the practices. What do we do now after knowing that these things are coming? How much do we really act? So that's what we are hoping for. It's not simply that we continuously train people. We hope that our behavior itself, also changes when it comes to this. Like this, for example, it is possible that after this, all of us now will be, learning the lessons of this typhoon, no?
Hopefully.
And then, hopefully, yeah, I hope so. No, we always pray for that.
Yeah.
And then after, when there's no more typhoon, there's no more coming typhoon, or parang the typhoon is mahina lang, or what, signal 2 lang, or what, biglang we become complacent. So it's always a reminder and a lesson for all of us never to be complacent when a warning is sent. Diba? Kasi I think it's really our behavior and our really response to all these communications that we have, that we give.
Right. Dr. Galvez, mayors have raised the proposal to give the NDRMC the authority to decide on the water release of dams, and we just saw that from a previous program. It's following the floods in a lot of affected areas. We want to get your thoughts on that.
Well, it's actually a very good thing that everyone's talking about it, so that we can review our protocols and processes. So we're continuing to study that. Of course, it would be good if everyone can probably have a tabletop exercise just to see how this will really work. Of course, we need to really know the timing. Will it really be, will decision making really be effective? Will it really be effective? And will it really be appropriate? Because at the end of the day, you don't want to have a broken dam, because that is really a disaster in itself.
Finally, sir, do you have any update on the recommendation of the NDRMC to place the whole of Luzon under a state of calamity?
We're still waiting for the approval of it. I'm just not aware which office it is right now. But we're hopeful that it will be granted, so that our local government units can be allowed more resources. They can use more of their resources, number one. Of course, it was the recommendation is for the whole of Luzon. So that means even those that are not too affected, or hindi masyado na konti lang yung their damages, the resources could help their adjacent towns. And then it also the price control also. So those are the things that we hope would be able to really help our countrymen, and help everyone to just stand up from this situation as soon as possible.
Dr. Peter Galvez, a spokesperson of the NDRMC, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much, Sir Ron, and to all our viewers. Thank you very much.